There's a strange myth in the modern world that rejecting God is the same as discovering science. Overnight, you're declared a rationalist, a man of reason, and of course, automatically superior to anyone who still believes in something higher. It's funny. Because every civilization, Indian, Chinese, Greek, Arab, built science through believers who asked deeper questions, not deniers who dismissed everything. The earliest astronomers prayed. The first mathematicians didn't begin with equations, they began with reverence. Acharya Aryabhata, one of the finest mathematical minds in human history, opened his Aryabhata not with a formula, but with a bow. I bow to Brahma, who set the wheel of time in motion. And then, in the same work, he calculated the Earth's rotation, the length of the solar year, and explained that the apparent motion of stars is due to Earth's spin, all in the 5th century. That opening verse wasn't ritual, it was discipline. A reminder that before you measure the universe, you acknowledge that it runs by laws greater than you. You'll often hear the confident line, "Science needs evidence, not belief." Sounds profound, until you actually think about it. Every act of science begins with belief that the universe follows order, that our senses are reliable, that numbers represent something real. None of that is proven before we start, it's assumed. Even the word law of nature rests on faith that the law will still hold tomorrow. So the difference was never between believer and scientist. The real difference is between those who are aware of the limits of their knowledge, and those who mistake arrogance for reason. The very believers you scoff at, the ones you think were too busy chanting to think, are the people who built the structure of logic you now quote back at them. In India, Buddhist philosophers laid out the Hetu chakra, the wheel of reason, a 9-case grid to test any claimed reason, Hetu. You check 3 things: is the sign present in the case itself, Paksa, present in similar cases, Sapaksa, and absent in dissimilar cases, Vipaksa. Map the combinations, throw out the fallacies, only a narrow set survives as a valid inference. It's not vibes, it's a checklist. The Nyaya tradition codified the full toolkit: 4 pramanas, perception, inference, comparison, testimony, tarka for hypothesis testing, avyava for the 5-step argument, and hetbhavasa for named fallacies. This is believers formalizing how to know, how to argue, and how to detect nonsense. And in the West, Aristotle, who affirmed a divine first cause, the unmoved mover, systematized formal logic not to deny order, but to understand it. And before you jump and parrot, argument from authority, relax. Nobody's asking you to accept something just because a sage said it. The point is simpler: the methods you brag about were forged by people of faith. They keep saying faith and reason can't live together. But our thinkers never got that memo. For them, questioning was a kind of prayer. You didn't close your eyes to find truth, you sharpened them. They studied numbers till numbers turned into philosophy. They broke sound down into science and called it grammar. They treated the mind like a lab long before psychology had a name. And through all of it, they never saw curiosity as rebellion. They saw it as discipline, the only way to reach something higher than yourself. Every time someone hears the word creation, they smirk, as if the very idea of an origin makes you primitive. But the deeper you look, the harder that smirk is to hold. Every law, every constant, every balance point somewhere. Even chaos has rules. The ancient sages weren't guessing when they spoke of a creator, they were observing. After years of studying the rhythm in nature, the pattern in sound, the precision in motion, they reached the same question science still can't escape: who set this in motion? For them, creation wasn't a fantasy. It was the most logical ending to a lifetime of observation. They didn't stop at wonder, they turned it into understanding, and then bowed to it. So before you wear the badge of science as proof of disbelief, remember, the first people who questioned, reasoned, and argued were the same ones who prayed. They built the methods, you built the memes. They debated causes and fallacies in monasteries, temples, and academies. You debate Wi-Fi speed while calling everyone else irrational. Science was never the enemy of faith. Arrogance was. The believer looks up and asks why, the scientist looks around and asks how, both are searchers. Only the arrogant think asking either question makes them superior. So no, atheists don't have monopoly on science. They just copyrighted curiosity and forgot how to use it. If this made sense to you, like, comment, share, and subscribe. More inconvenient truths coming soon.